What if everything we were taught about ancient Egypt was wrong? What if the gods they worshipped were not gods at all? What if they were visitors from somewhere else, from somewhere beyond our stars? For thousands of years, humanity has looked at the pyramids and asked one simple question: how? How did a civilization with no modern technology, no machinery, no computers, build structures so precise, so massive, so perfectly aligned with the stars, that even today we cannot replicate them? Tonight, we go deeper than the history books ever dared to go. Tonight, we ask the question that archaeologists fear. Were the Egyptian gods actually extraterrestrial beings? The evidence will shock you. Ancient Egyptian texts speak of beings called the Neteru. Most historians translate this word as simply gods. But the original hieroglyphic meaning of Neteru is far more specific. It means guardians who came from the stars. Not from Mount Olympus, not from the heavens above, from the stars. Ra, the supreme god of Egypt, was described not as a spirit, but as a physical being who travelled across the sky in a vessel called the solar bark, a boat of fire, a craft that moved through the heavens. Ancient texts describe Ra's vessel as capable of travelling millions of miles in a single day. No wind-powered boat can do that, but a spacecraft can. Thoth, the god of knowledge and wisdom, was said to have arrived on Earth carrying the complete knowledge of the universe. Mathematics, astronomy, medicine, architecture, language, an entire civilization's worth of knowledge, delivered overnight, as if downloaded from somewhere else. Horus, the falcon-headed god, is depicted in thousands of carvings with enormous eyes, elongated skull, and a body that seems to shift between human and something other. Ancient astronaut theorists point to one undeniable fact. Every major Egyptian god has a non-human feature. Animal heads, glowing auras, supernatural abilities. What if these were not artistic choices? What if these were attempts by ancient Egyptians to draw exactly what they saw? Let's talk about the Great Pyramid of Giza. Built approximately 4,500 years ago, it contains 2.3 million stone blocks, each block weighing between 2.5 and 80 tons. The entire structure covers 13 acres of land. And here is what nobody talks about in school. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north with an accuracy of 0.05 degrees. The most sophisticated GPS systems we have today achieve an accuracy of 0.02 degrees. The ancient Egyptians were 0.03 degrees away from perfection. With no satellites, no computers, no modern instruments. How? Mainstream archaeology says ramps and sledges. But engineers have calculated that to move 2.3 million stones using only human labor, workers would have needed to place one stone every 2 minutes for 20 years straight, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, without stopping, without sleeping, without mistakes. That is not humanly possible. But there is something even more extraordinary. The 3 pyramids of Giza are a perfect mirror image of the 3 stars in Orion's belt. Not approximately, not roughly, exactly. The same spacing, the same alignment, the same angular offset. The ancient Egyptians built their most sacred monuments to match a specific star constellation. Why Orion? Because in Egyptian mythology, Orion was the home of Osiris, the king of the gods, the first ruler of Egypt, who, according to ancient texts, came to Earth from the stars of Orion. Think about that. In 1891, archaeologists discovered something inside the Temple of Hathor at Dendera, Egypt. Carved into the stone walls were images that looked impossible for their time. Images that looked remarkably like electric light bulbs, complete with what appears to be a filament inside, a glass tube, and a cable connecting to a power source. Egyptologists dismissed them as religious symbols, but electrical engineers who studied the carvings said something different. They said, "These are functional diagrams." In 1998, engineer Walter Gahn built a working replica based on the Dendera carvings. It produced light. If the ancient Egyptians had no electricity, why were they carving detailed blueprints of light bulbs into their temple walls? And the Dendera carvings are not alone. In the Temple of Abydos, built over 3,000 years ago, archaeologists found hieroglyphs that appear to show a helicopter, a submarine, a modern aircraft, and what looks like a flying saucer. These are known as the Abydos hieroglyphs. Mainstream Egyptologists say they are the result of overlapping carvings from different time periods. A coincidence. But ancient astronaut researchers ask a simple question. What are the odds that a random overlap of carvings produces 4 perfectly recognizable modern vehicles in a row? The ancient Egyptians believed their pharaohs were not fully human. They were described as the direct offspring of the gods, half divine, half mortal. For thousands of years, historians treated this as myth. But then came the DNA results. In 2011, scientists conducted DNA analysis on the mummy of Pharaoh Akhenaten, the most mysterious pharaoh in Egyptian history. Akhenaten was famous for 2 things. First, he abolished all Egyptian gods and declared there was only one god, the Aten, a solar disk, a circle of light, a craft in the sky. Second, his physical appearance was unlike any other pharaoh. Ancient carvings show Akhenaten with an elongated skull, an extremely long neck, wide hips, and enormous almond-shaped eyes. His own priests described him as not of this world. When scientists analyzed his DNA, they found genetic markers that do not match any known human population on Earth. Not African, not Middle Eastern, not European, not Asian. Unidentified. His daughter, Nefertiti, also depicted with an elongated skull. His son, Tutankhamun, also had an abnormal skull shape, confirmed by CT scans in 2005. 3 generations. The same unusual features. The same unidentified DNA. The Egyptian royal bloodline was protecting something. A genetic heritage that did not originate on this planet. The ancient Egyptians left us pyramids we cannot build today, texts describing gods who came from the stars, carvings of technology centuries ahead of their time, and the royal bloodline with, maybe, the Egyptian gods were just stories, myths created by primitive people to explain the world around them. Or maybe the ancient Egyptians were telling us the truth, and we simply stopped listening. The pyramids still stand. The hieroglyphs still wait to be understood. And somewhere above us, the stars of Orion still shine, just as they did when the gods first arrived. If this video made you think, share it with someone who needs to know. The truth is older than history, and it has been waiting for you to find it.